I love being a cool, shucking and jiving to the moon. I've learned that the just never learned, so I jump ship just to let him burn. I fly the delay for the cool. Say what wrong with God, God.
Looks like it's working to me.
Shucking and jiving on the righteous edge, on the righteous edge. Shucking and jiving on the righteous edge, on the righteous edge. Live it up on the edge, on the righteous edge. Live it up on the edge, on the righteous edge. I love being a cool, shucking and jiving to the moon. I love being a cool, shucking and jiving to the moon. I love being a cool, shucking and jiving to the moon. I love being a cool, shucking and jiving to the moon. I've learned that the just never learned, so I jump ship just to let him burn. I fly the delay for the cool. Say what wrong with God. Shucking and jiving on the righteous edge, the righteous edge. Shucking and jiving on the righteous edge, the righteous edge. Living up on the edge, on the righteous edge. Living up on the edge, on the righteous edge.
Oh. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Jack Bravo back on the Righteous Edge, and I wanted to tell you guys today that the over-sexualization that these young women have in this generation has caused a major issue in society. This issue can be seen in various ways and in numerous ways. Various, numerous, like the same thing. It can be seen in various ways. The problem that I have is that nobody is really addressing this and what it leads to. We look at these problems, we see all these different problems, right? And you see, for instance, you see these problems with women. One of them is that they're on antidepressants higher than they've ever been in all of history. And then you got, they're deleting their children with abortion. And then you got the fact that they're so promiscuous that body count is an actual discussion that's debated. And then you got the low birth rate status, a combination of depression, abortion, feminism. You got all these problems, and then you look at it and you say, where did all this come from? Why are we encouraging the young women to be promiscuous? And why do we act like you can just go out, be promiscuous, and have no result from that? That you can just live life, sleep around, and there will be nothing that happens to you. Just go on your merry life and then live happily ever after. So many women have this delusion. How do I know so many women have this delusion? We just discussed Meg the Stallion and Klay Thompson. All these whores is out there saying, if Meg can't do it, there's no hope for anyone. And secretly what they were saying is, we're all whores, just like Meg the Stallion. Well, if you are a whore, you get whore results. This ain't no secret. It should not be a secret. Meg the Stallion was openly talking about her wet ASS PUSSY, words that I don't even use. She was talking about that. She made a song about it. That's one of her biggest songs, if not the biggest song. And she also was on a campaign trail for a presidential candidate twerking her butt crack. And the thing about that is, you would think, right, that you would have some decorum, some class, and you would maintain some type of like self-respect. But even on the highest stage in the most powerful country in the world, with a potential presidential leader, she was twerking her behind. That lets you know she is a woman of low character, and the women that looked up to her, because they look up to her like a superhero, they honestly expected her to get married with a multi-millionaire, top of the line man who was known for cheating. Apparently, Klay Thompson has cheated on all of his relationships that he's ever had before. But yet, women believe that he was going to get with a whore, a known whore, somebody who got famous for being a whore, somebody who sings songs about being a whore, and they were going to live happily ever after. And you want me to think that this society that's promoting female promiscuity, that it has no downfall, that it's just going to be okay, that everything is just going to be okay for these women? No. It's no happily ever after when you live that lifestyle. It's no happily ever after for a girl who does not keep her legs closed. It's just the way it is. Even those who turn to Jesus Christ later on in life and repent, your past is still there. That doesn't mean that you have to be a slave to your past, but your past is still there. The consequences of your past is still there. If you have children out of wedlock, they're still there. If you have STDs, they're still there. If you sleep with somebody and you had all these emotional ties to that person, those emotional ties are still there. They don't just disappear. How you deal with them, you have the Holy Spirit to help you now, but they're still there. Your memories still there. Sexual experience and things you've done still there. You can't just delete it and act like, oh, I'm a brand new man or a brand new woman. No, your past still exists. Now, what a godly person would do is take that past and say, I am a sinner. I was those things. And thank God that he saved a lowly, beat down, dirty, ragged person like me. But that's not what you see with these girls. They're proud about their past, and they expect nobody to ever hold it against them. And that's just not how society works. That's not even how God works. In order for Jesus Christ to save you, you must acknowledge that you need saving. And what do you need saving for? Your sins. And what do you constantly worship Jesus Christ for? Saving you from your sins. So it's like this idea that nothing really matters and your body count doesn't matter and your sexual promiscuous past doesn't matter and it won't have any effect for you in the future and you can find a man to settle down with and live happily ever after. That is a lie, and I believe it's a satanic lie. And the reason why I say that is it's causing women to get to a point in their life where they're around 35 and they hit the wall, right? They hit this wall where it's like, uh-oh, I'm not as attractive as I used to be. I can't do all the things I used to do. I don't get no attention from men like I used to get. And now I gotta settle down. And then they think, oh, men are so easy. I'll just grab one off the shelf. It don't work like that, honey child. Because these men, now, when you get to that 35-year-old range, a man, and there's something a lot of Christians don't want to acknowledge, a man hits his stride at 35. He finds out who he is. He's usually doing good in his business. He's settled in his career. He's got a car or two. He's got his house. He's got his home. He might even, be a pillar of his community. He might be the leader of his group by then. He's learned all these things. He's not an apprentice anymore. He's the journeyman. So you get him there and you're declining. You're past your prime. You're not the hot little 21-year-old girl who can go out and drink all night and wake up and do it again the next day. That's not you. And since you've wasted your life up till 35, the man that's 35 who has spent time not chasing women and building himself up, he ain't looking for you. He's not looking for another raggedy shouldn't even say another. He's not even looking for a girl that has been through all these life experiences. Nobody wants that. And it's like, if I even say that, I'm a bad guy. It's just the truth. All that to say this, y'all. We finna go over some stories that talk about how the over-sexualization of women destroys society. We were told that women can chase sexual liberation, that their body count is a badge of honor. They thought they could do things just like men. Science talks about how they have problems connecting to a man after, I believe it's 3 bodies, meaning 3 sexual encounters you've had with 3 separate men. After the 3rd one, you have a really hard time connecting with somebody because women aren't meant to jump from body to body to body. That's a lie that y'all can do that. You can't. There's spiritual consequences for doing that. Unchecked promiscuity doesn't stay in the bedroom. It spills into the classroom, as we will see, where female teachers raised in the my body, my choice culture prey on little boys. Here's the thing about that, and we're going to get into this more. Why do I connect these two? Have you noticed that the teachers union in any state you are in, any teachers group is 99.9% liberal. They don't even let conservatives be teachers anymore. This is not a conservative trad wife problem. For though we got trad wife issues, but the conservative women, this is not them doing this. Liberal teachers, leftist teachers with liberal leftist ideology are the ones who are teaching in these classrooms. The one who believe in sexual liberation and feminism and egalitarianism and everybody should be able to do what they want to do without wilt type stuff. The ones who believe in secular humanism, they're the ones who are indoctrinating the kids with this leftist ideology. It's no wonder that they don't have any morality in their personal lives. No wonder. And we're going to see that. But first, I want to go to you. It's a lady. What is her name? Saraya Bevis? What a ugly name.
Yeah, she was known in professional wrestling as Paige.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, her stage name was Paige.
Stage name was Paige.
Yep.
If you can you get that pulled up about the what's going on with her?
Yep.
And then just read that for me.
Sure. Yeah. So Saraya Bevis, we'll just call her Paige from WWE. There was a sex tape scandal a few years ago. So in 2017, private intimate videos and photos of Saraya Jade Bevis, ring name Paige, were leaked online by hackers. The content included a threesome video filmed years earlier. I guess she was around age 19 when that happened. It was involving her then boyfriend and then another wrestler, plus other explicit material. The leak went viral and it caused massive public humiliation. Man, wow. Was it not because of what she did, but because it was discovered?
The thing about it is this, and this is what really bothers me with the stupidity of a lot of these young women. I don't even want to call them girls because 19 is an adult. You should know better. Every time they say sex tape leak, I, in my head, immediately think, what an idiot. Who films their sex escapades knowing that they would be embarrassed for their whoring behavior and then just, oh no, it got out. Did you think that the dude who filmed it, the cameraman, was going to keep it to himself? I said I wasn't going to tell nobody, but I couldn't keep it to myself. That's a Christian song. I probably shouldn't play with it. But here's the thing, though. Who in their right mind would ever take a sex tape of themselves knowing they're being filmed and then be surprised it got leaked somehow? It's a stupid thing to do. First of all, like, let's even go before that. Before you even get into filming, let's just get to the specifics. What type of woman in her right mind would, one, film it, and two, have a threesome with two dudes? Getting bust down by two dudes at once. That's a messed up mentality. At 19, like, maybe for the girls, maybe I'm old now, but at 19, that shouldn't be nothing you like. Why are you engaged? You want to be railed by two men at the same time? Something is wrong with that dude. Maybe I just got a virgin mind. Maybe I'm too pure. I don't know many women who are engaged in that type of activity at 19. Now, once you go through college and they be doing all that weird stuff through college, maybe, I guess you can be in college at 19, but still, the fact that she was okay with doing that and filming it shows that she had a horror mindset before she got caught. What type of stuff was not on camera? My goodness. You know, they be saying all this weird stuff going on at frat parties and stuff like that. This is the type of women that be there. Like, what in the world? And I'm not just, here's the other thing too. Let me go on the men, because I really find it very disgusting and simpy and gay to want to engage in a double team with a girl. And I really mean that. Some dudes be like, oh yeah, man, me and my buddy took down this girl. That's gay. That's real gay to me. So you just sword slinging and juices flying everywhere and you just cool with this? Y'all got one girl, y'all couldn't even get a girl each? Y'all had to share the same girl? That's gay. And what are y'all doing? Looking at each other in the eyes during the act? That's gay. You're gay for that. And any dude who be like, yeah, you wouldn't understand, man. No, man, I don't care. What's happening to these young men is they've watched so much adult material that nothing normal satisfies them anymore, and they don't understand that Satan is slowly pushing them towards homosexuality. What's next? You gonna have a little group party and the girl not gonna show up and, well, we gotta do something.
Gotta do something.
We gotta get something done. Let's have a sword fight. What's wrong with y'all? Like, y'all couldn't. I always looked at it as, if I can't attract a girl on my own, to me, I'm lame. If you go to a party and it's 2 times the dudes than the girls, I always thought that was lame. So you go into a sex party and it's 2 dudes and 1 girl? That's gay. And y'all gonna be like, Jack, call everything gay. Yes, everything is gay. Y'all need to stop.
Right, especially that.
That's gay.
I mean,
man.
come on. No.
That stuff is lame. Like, I lose respect for any dude who's that desperate. You want to look a man deep in his eyes while you go, come on, man. Just come on out and say you gay. So let's play that first video. And I want y'all to listen to what she says and really analyze, because I think she means what she's saying.
Oops.
It's fine. We
Yeah.
can.
I kept that in the back of my mind, even though it's very hard to live by.
Yeah. You want to rewind it?
But why are you stressing? And so, like I kept that in the back of my mind, even though it's very hard to live by. But I kept that in the back of my mind. Just walking the street, I was very embarrassed. And then I remember this one time I was like in this bar with my friends, not drinking, but I was in this bar eating and stuff like that. And someone was drunk, came up to me and he's like, "Oh, you're the fucking porn star." And I was just like, I froze, ran into the bathroom, cried my eyes out, sobbed, because I was like, that's what I'm going to be remembered for.
You know what? Pause that. What you crying for? Why would you cry? You didn't do anything wrong, right? Girls, sweet liberation, sexual liberation. Girls should be proud of what they're doing. You should. What's to be ashamed about? The secret that no one wants to talk about is in Romans. It talks about how God painted his law on your heart. You know when something is wrong. You know when you did something that was against God's law. When you steal something, even as a little kid, you know that's not yours. In fact, we say that to kids all the time. Why'd you take that? You knew that wasn't yours. Why'd you do that? You knew that was bad. And so You get these people who are detaching natural shame from their ethics and from their behavior, and they wonder why they're so mentally stunted. They wonder why they're dealing with depression and on depression medication. You cannot engage in such degeneracy being used as a piece of meat by two men and then not have or feel any effects from that. You're going to feel some effects. And so she ran to the bathroom and she started crying. Now, my question is like, okay, the Bible says godly sorrow leads to repentance. Some sorrow just leads to doubling down on your behavior. Sorrow's not wrong. You should feel shame. You should feel bad. Let's play the rest of it.
I've done all these good things that I've done in wrestling or whatever, the reality show, like doing all these things, that's what I'm going to be remembered for. So like that, I had that in the back of my mind too. But all I kept thinking is, it's like, I've reached rock bottom and I never want to see it again. Why are you stressing?
You know what's funny? Is this. That this is something that's new to some of these women. This idea that, well, I did all these great things, but I'm going to be remembered for the worst thing I ever did. Yeah. There's a man that I used to follow called Ravi Zacharias. And he was a great teacher. But his life was destroyed because at the end of his life, he was engaging with prostitutes and everything else. I believe he was a Christian. I mean, as far as I know. But he made a lot of bad decisions, especially at the end of his life. And it tainted his whole reputation. Now, every time you bring his name up, you ain't going to remember his sermons. You ain't going to remember the times that he led people to Christ. You're going to remember that he did despicable things. Same with everyone. And this is why character is so important and integrity is so important. What you do when nobody is watching. If you think that you're going to outweigh and build up your character, oh, I did some bad things and some good things. The bad things are what people are going to hold you accountable for. The bad things are what people are going to see and say, well, yeah, but when you had that video out, Kim Kardashian, a mother, married several times, divorced several times. What is she remembered for? Why did she get famous? Because she personally leaked a sex tape. And everybody's going to know her for that till the end of her life. Now, she might not have a problem with that, but most people should, and most people do. And when you live a promiscuous life, that reputation will destroy you. And what a lot of women don't understand is men care about their wife's reputation. We really, truly care. And what I see from women is such a stupid response. Well, you guys shouldn't. You shouldn't care about what she's done before you because now that she's with you, she's a new woman. That's a lie. If you want to know what somebody will do in the future, look at their past. That's just common sense. You would never date a wife abuser and you say, well, I've changed. I only did that yesterday. That was weeks ago. You'd be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This dude punched his wife in the face so hard her cranium exploded? No, I don't want to be with that dude. What about somebody who diddles kids? We're going to get to that later. But somebody who diddles kids, would you be like, yeah, you can watch my kids. You repented from that. You opened up a daycare? Cool. We're going to look out for you. I'll send my kids there next week. No, you wouldn't. You could say, that's more important. No, it's not. A woman's reputation is very, very important to a man because that's the woman who's going to be the mother of your child, who has the power to delete your child while it's in the womb, has the power to destroy your life and take more than half of everything you own, has the power to make your life miserable, to hold your kids over your head, to just fill your life with nothing but anguish, strife, and nagging. If we don't look at a woman's character, it can really destroy us. Matter of fact, I think that's one of the things the red pill does not speak about enough. When you talk to red pill people, they will encourage young boys to go out and sow their wild oats and sleep around. I say absolutely no. The cost is too big. The cost is too much. When you see these women who will go around and throw an accusation. First of all, finding a wife is a good thing, right? So a good wife is hard to find, which means most of these women out here is crazy. Let's just be honest. You sleep around, 1 out of 3 is going to accuse you of something. 1 out of 3 is going to try to ruin your life. 1 out of 3 is going to be mad that you slept with her and moved on to the next and try to ruin your reputation and your job and everything else. 1 out of 3 women is probably, let's just admit, men, am I lying? 1 out of 3 women is probably super crazy. And the other 2 are crazy at least once a month. But the 1 out of 3 women is crazy all the time. And y'all know the rumors. Oh, that crazy one, she the one best in bed. Okay, so that's the one you're going to sleep with, who's promiscuous, and she's going to ruin your life. So this, oh, you should go sleep around to get experience and sleep with 50 women. Everybody who said that, who slept around, I can guarantee you their life has been threatened by a crazy woman. I remember Myron Gaines, who I like a lot of the stuff he says. He has 2 pregnancy scares. People don't forget about that. One girl was trying to hold it over his head. He was trying to convince her to get an abortion. She was saying she wasn't. Another one tried to falsely accuse him of grape and tried to put it out there that he was filling her up and she didn't want that. Another one said the same thing. From Fresh and Fit, Myron Gaines of Fresh and Fit have a TV show. He has pregnancy scares. He had girls accusing him of all types of weirdo stuff. These women will, and they luckily got out of that by the skin of their teeth. They had videos that pretty much were taking down their channel. They had all types of rumors and stuff. They had to do videos to clear their name. If you live right, you don't have to deal with that. Is it really worth the risk to sleep around with loose women who will destroy your life? It's not worth it. Let's play that next video.
Do you know what? Can I just tell a story about
Please,
when the tapes came out?
please.
My dad is a tough guy, right? He's a tough guy.
No, he's not.
But he stopped me from killing myself, right? So I remember, sorry, this is, I'm telling this story because he taught me a lot in that moment, you know, to not take anything too serious and, you know, but anyway, I was in a bush outside an HEB in Texas.
So the book starts
Yeah, exactly.
with a bang.
Yeah. And I was just sitting there and I was this close. I was like, I'm so mortified. I'm so embarrassed. I'm so humiliated. Like, this is the last straw, you know, because in that year and a half, I was going through a lot. And
You
I
know
was
what?
like, this
Pause
is the
that.
last straw. Like, if
The reason why the Bible says godly sorrow leads to repentance is you're supposed to take that moment when you're at your lowest and look up and turn to God. You're not supposed to take that and just read a self-help book and think, oh, the situation's not as bad as it could be. The situation is bad. You did something bad. You had a sex tape with 2 people. It was well known. You were well known. And it got all out there and it embarrassed you and embarrassed your family. That is bad. What are you supposed to do with that? What does God tend to teach people when they're at their lowest? That there is no escape apart from him. He is the salvation that you look for. He's the one that you go to where you say, Lord, save me, and he saves you. What do these women do? Well, let's listen. Let's listen to the rest of the video. What did her father, who was so hardcore, say to her to help her out of this situation?
I cannot do this anymore. I can't do my life anymore. Like, I don't want to be around. And I said to myself, like, okay, if my dad or my family, but mostly my dad, if he's disappointed in me, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
You know? And so they would call me and call me and call me. And eventually I opened the phone and I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm just like crying. I'm sobbing. I'm just like, I'm so sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry. And he goes, Princess? He was just like, everything's going to be okay. And he said, it's just sex and everybody does it. It's just, you're in the spotlight. So it just feels like a lot right now. But he was just like, you're doing what every other human's been doing with their lives, right? He was like, don't feel shame.
Pause
I
that.
love you. I'm proud of you. And then he said, and
That's terrible, terrible advice. Terrible advice. It's just sex. Don't feel ashamed. You're doing what everybody does. Everybody does not get railed by two men. Now, I've never seen this video. I don't know what she was doing in the video, but I know it was two men involved in her. Just her. So here's the thing. Your father is not that tough. He's not a good man, because if your daughter was to do something like that, I'm going to tell you how you should respond. You can, if your daughter's on the brink of ending her life, take your daughter and you can give her a hug and you can tell her, I love you. What you did was bad. What you did was despicable. What you did brought shame. But I still love you. And now you need to turn your life to God. And I'm going to show you how. Because obviously somebody who's engaged in that type of behavior and willing to engage in that type of thing, chances are you're not following God at all. So let me show you who Jesus Christ is. And then after that, I'm going to walk with you. We're going to engage with church. We're going to get ourselves involved in church, in discipleship, other women around you who can comfort you, who can guide you, who can give you some wisdom so that you never go down that road again. I'm very disappointed, but yet I love you and I don't want you to end your life. That's how a father should talk. Like the rapper Averb said, and that's how you talk to your son. Here's the part of the problem I got with these people. And this is a problem that I have, and I got to be honest, with a lot of white suburban culture. They so scared to say something to offend somebody that they teach people a lie. When your daughter was at her lowest, that's when she was most willing to hear you as a father. And most of these weak, sissy fathers will raise a promiscuous daughter, and instead of protecting her from the world, just tell her, go out there and experiment. Everybody does it. Bust that butt wide open for whoever. Tyrone's coming over. I'll be upstairs. Just don't make too much noise. And if you do, I'll just take a walk. While you're in the room getting it on with 3 Tyrones, Tyrone, Boo JJ, and Binky, I'll just take a walk. Oh, I came back and you guys weren't done because I heard a bunch of huffing and puffing. My daughter's so energetic, isn't she? That's the type of man y'all want us to be? That's the type of man liberals want. That's the type of father liberals think is a good father. To see his daughter and know his daughter is getting railed and tell her, everybody does it. That's the thing. Let somebody explain. Am I getting that wrong? Am I getting it wrong that that's the type of man that liberals want a father to be? They would tell that father he's a good father, but then what I said about me being disappointed, I would be a bad father to them. And that's why you can't listen to these cowards, because they don't know what they're doing. When I raise my sons and my daughter, I do tell them, you engage in this behavior, whether it's smoking weed, whether it's living promiscuous, whether you just not living according to God's word, you are an embarrassment to me. You carry my name. And we represent Jesus Christ everywhere we go. You've been brought up to live in a godly manner. And the moment you don't live in that godly manner, you are an embarrassment to me. You're an embarrassment to your Holy Father. And the fact that somebody would sit up here and and I see this done all the time, especially in suburban culture. Somebody dies. Me and my wife talk about this because somebody had died recently. Somebody dies. And they die by suicide. Or they die by doing something crazy or in the wrong situation at the wrong time, whether it's drunk driving or something. Oh, he was a good person and, he really did love God and we're not going to talk about the bad. No. Ecclesiastes says you can learn more in the house of mourning than you can when you have joy. You ought to speak the truth. It may be hard. You don't got to go and punch somebody in the face with it all the time, but I'm going to tell you right now, it may be the hard thing to do to stand up and say, you know what, that person, I love them and I feel sorry for their family, but let's not lie about how they ended their life. That was not of God. You have to speak that way because guess what? It's some little person watching who might engage in that because he says, wow, that person died and everybody thinks they're a hero. If I go out, I'm going to go out like that. And they do think that way. How do we know they think that way? Look at all these school shooter repeaters. The young people watch and they say, look, he's a hero. I'm going to go out like that. You want to encourage them to follow God, or you want to encourage them to do this wicked nonsense following the flesh and then just patch it all up and make it better Daddy's here for you. I'll be in the other room. Like, come on, man. You can play the rest of that.
And he had some humor in it. He said, who knows, maybe you might get more famous like Kim Kardashian.
What?
And I said, how the fuck do you know Kim Kardashian? I was like more blown away from the fact, like, he's in his 70s. I'm like, how the hell do you know Kim Kardashian? And in that moment, he told me, like, he just taught me, like, not to take it too serious and not everything is as big as, because I'll overthink stuff and I'll, like, make
You
it a
wasn't
big deal
overthinking
when
with
it
the two
doesn't
dudes in
need
the
to be.
room.
So, and he said once, like, and I use this all the time now, is if you can change it, why are you stressing? If you can't change it, why are you stressing?
Let's just. So this is another terrible thing, and this is how you know her father is not a good man. Instead of encouraging her and comforting her with the truth, he comforts her with a lie, and he comforts her by pointing her towards the wrong direction. You can get rich off of this. You might be more famous than you were before. You might as well just start an OnlyFans. You'll get millions of subscribers. What type of man tells his daughter something like that? A despicable person. Dudes like that ought to be smacked with an ashy hand. This don't make any sense for me for people to be walking around claiming to be fathers and you ain't doing the basic instruction that a father's supposed to do to his daughter. Don't be promiscuous. And she's coming to you. Here's the thing. You're taking advantage. Not even taking advantage is the wrong word. You're not utilizing the position and the stewardship that God gave you when you're a father and you don't teach your daughters the right thing. Because when a daughter is embarrassed about what she's done, because she has respect for you, it's because she has respect for you. So that respect that she put in you was put in there for a reason. That respect was put there in you so that you could provide her boundaries. And when she is embarrassed about her behavior, you could say, yes, I understand you embarrassed because you haven't brought embarrassment to me, to my name. Now I still love you, but let's get ways and let's find out how we can not have that happen again. Not, it's all okay and your embarrassment doesn't mean anything. You don't need to respect me or my name or legacy or anything like that. Go out and slut yourself out. Matter of fact, put my social security card up in your next video. What's wrong with these people? So, I thought that was insanely telling because you got to wonder, a lot of these girls who are on OnlyFans and slutting themselves out and twerking online, you know, the Megan Thee Stallions that's out there, all of them aren't fatherless. A lot of them are. And I'm not trying to take the blame off them, but a lot of them are not fatherless. Some of them have fathers like that they call and they say, oh, dear, whatever you want to do, I'm going to support you. If you need support, I'm here. You want me to hold your hand while you get railed? That's the type of fathers that's out there. And you got to wonder, you kind of got to wonder how many of them is like that because it's so many whores nowadays. It's so many of them. So they can't all be fatherless. You know what? Let's go to the next part. Mr. Producer. Let me pull it up.
You want the photo?
Yeah, you can show that photo.
Okay.
That's just a regular club photo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's how young ladies be out here dressing. When they be out going to the clubs, that's how they are. But we're going to talk about the OnlyFans creator regret.
So we got a list of OnlyFans creators who have publicly spoken out their regrets in interviews, videos, articles, or social media.
You want to read that?
Yeah, sure, yeah. So full public, I deeply regret everything stories are rarer than you'd think. Many express mixed feelings or regrets are specific, like their reputation, family mental health. Is the content going to be out there forever? Is it going to be permanent? While sometimes staying in the industry. And so we got a list here of those that have made some very clear public statements.
Yeah.
So you want me to read the names here?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the first one is Gemma Lucy. She's a reality TV star turned OnlyFans. She made 6 figures, but said she'd give it all back, not to be an embarrassment to her daughter.
Too late.
Yeah.
Too late because you ain't. And this thing is coming out more and more as we got like as the OnlyFans has taken off. You know, OnlyFans has been out for what, 6 years? I don't know, something
I
like
don't know.
that.
Yeah.
But since OnlyFans has taken off and people have acted like it was the greatest platform ever and this and that, and women can just become rich, now you're seeing a number of years later the result. And now women, I'm trying to figure out where they get this idea that you can just take your past back. That doesn't work.
No.
This idea that I can go out there and slut myself out and now I have a daughter, so everything changed. Everybody told you that was going to happen. Everybody would tell you, like, yo, what's going to happen when you have kids? I don't care. My kids will have money. But then when they have kids, it's different. You want to pull that article up?
Yeah.
It might be a video. Yeah.
Yeah, here we go.
Behavior on reality TV. I am now a mother, an entrepreneur, and a podcast host. So I first went into OnlyFans because I came off reality TV. My last show was Celebrity Big Brother, and I had this big platform. And just the way the industry works, you don't get much help if you come off a show and then you're not doing any work for a while. And I kind of saw it as a way to just survive really and make some good money. When I first started OnlyFans, the platform blew up straight away because I had the benefit of my social media platform. I started off really PG, but as the money gets addictive and you want more and you want those kind of like bursts of income, you kind of end up doing levels that are maybe out of the comfort zone, and it just goes like a little bit until years down the line.
You want to pause that?
Yeah.
The reason why you kept doing more and more and more is because you're lazy and you're greedy. Let's call it what it is. It's not, it was the only thing I know. She said some phrase like that at the beginning of the video.
Yeah.
I just, I did it to survive. No, you didn't. You could have worked at McDonald's to survive. You did it because you were lazy, you loved the attention, and you were greedy. And so when you were at the peak of your platform, you decided, how can I do the littlest, the smallest amount of work and get paid the most? And that's what you chose to do. And you kept upping the ante because you knew it would give you more money. I hate when women try to play the victim and the hero at the same time. When you was doing your OnlyFans, I can better bet you was confident and talking about how proud you were and the numbers and everything like that. But now that you're done, let's see what you got to say. So you can play the rest.
I was doing stuff that I just didn't want to do, and my body was telling me no. I have loads of regrets from OnlyFans, and my biggest regret is signing up to the site and starting it in the first place. I say that with strength because I'm now a mother.
She said her biggest regret was what?
Although I have got a lot from it, and the money that I've made.
OnlyFans. I thought that's what I heard.
Her accent is weird, so
Yeah.
I couldn't really hear.
Right, and that music is loud too. I'm trying to hear.
Super loud.
Yeah, we'll continue.
Made and the properties that I've bought and the place I am now financially is because of that site. But I just wish that when I was younger, I saw another option and I saw another direction that I could go.
You know
I
what?
think I
Pause
needed a bit
that.
more help.
I hate that line of
Hi,
thinking.
I'm Gemma Lucy.
It's fine. But you know what? I hate that phrasing.
And I'm
I
best
wish
known
I
for my
knew-
wild behaviour on reality.
I wish I knew another option. That's a terrible thing. That's a lie that people say all the time. It's like a drug dealer saying, that's all I know. Meanwhile, he might be selling his drugs to doctors. On the street, when he get arrested, he sees lawyers. He gets arrested from a cop. That ain't all you know. It's all you chose to know. When you pass people on the street, you see construction workers. When you take your car that's probably thugged out, you see people that work on cars. You see it all. You chose to do what was easy. And the same with these OnlyFans creators. You choose to do what is easy. Don't pretend like, oh, well, that's all I know. No, it's plenty of things you could have done. You chose the easy route. You can, well, you know what, we can go because we pretty much got the point of that video. And let's go to
Should we go?
Taylor, because everybody
Taylor?
knows Lee.
Okay.
We did a video on
Okay.
Lily Phillips before.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So here's Taylor, but here's another one. Taylor Fogarty, former OnlyFans model. She went from a a high-earning sex worker, party life to a sober Catholic mom. And she has a full testimony on leaving and regretting that chapter.
Yeah, open that link for me.
So this is a series where I've been talking. Taylor, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thanks for having me.
So this is a series where I've been talking to people who have changed their minds and really therefore their lives. I've spoken to a former white nationalist, a former climate activist, a former anti-Israel protester, and I'm really excited to talk to you today. We're going to get into how you went from being a sex worker and OnlyFans content creator to a conservative Catholic mom. So I kind of want to start with who you were before all of that, how you got into sex work, into OnlyFans, what your life looked like before.
Sure. So I moved to New York in my early 20s. I came from the South, so I moved to Brooklyn. I very quickly found a community in the kind of liberal woke scene. I, at the time, identified as a lesbian, so I found a really great community within the LGBT community. I was indulging in alcohol and drugs, so I found kind of a party scene. I quickly found friends and community and was kind of just living a bit of, I would call a degenerate life.
You want to pause
Kind
that?
of just partying, trying to make money, working in restaurants.
And this is why I talk about the need for a father and a family and the mother to indoctrinate your children. And people are always like, oh, indoctrinate them. No, we just show them. No. Indoctrinate your children because the world will. It's a fight. On one side, you got the teachings of God, the ethics of Christianity, the scriptures. And then on the other side, you got liberalism, secular humanism, Satanism, leftist ideology, communism. You have all these things that are grasping at your children. And if you don't take action, they will swallow your children up, which is why I hate when I see parents say, well, we let our kids choose when they're going to go to church. Do they choose when they go to school? You big dummy. So you're going to take your child's eternity and play with that. But when it comes to their education, they don't have a choice. Oh, he's not going to be at church for the next 5 weeks because he has summer camp. He has summer this and summer that, and he's going to miss service because he's at basketball this and basketball that. What's more important? Are you going to establish things that let your children know the principles that are unmovable in their life and that they should adhere to? Or are you going to let the world swallow them up? I can't tell you how many people I've mentored in my church. Oh, little Johnny wasn't like this when he was young. Now he has 3 baby mamas and can't pay child support and he's living back with me. I don't know what happened. And I'll be like, yo, wait, no, little Johnny, when he was little, he was into all types of stuff. Y'all caught him smoking weed, didn't do nothing. He skipped church, didn't do nothing. Skipped school, didn't do nothing. No consequences. You didn't tell him that he had to do anything. When everybody else was memorizing verses, you told him, you got schoolwork to do, so don't worry about it. When people had to come to church and actually learn the word of God, he didn't learn anything. He wasn't even there. You didn't make him go. And then they wonder why little John, the Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's older, he will not depart from it. But people think it's an option. And look at this young lady. She got swallowed up. She was an LGBTQ, all that gay stuff. And then she was over here, and then she eventually got into sex work. So my thing is this. Where was her parents? Who was around her to put love into her and say, this is what the word of God says? Who was there? It don't sound like anybody was there. You can play a little bit more.
Restaurants. So kind of just trying to find my way, my footing in this new city. So my early 20s were just a lot of that, moving from job to job, trying to make money, trying to pay my rent, and find kind of my new, I would call, identity.
I think it's what a lot of people that especially come to a city like New York in their 20s feel.
Yeah.
They're lost. It's hard to make money. They can't find their footing. And they kind of grasp onto these identities and groups.
Right.
But not everyone, gets into sex work.
True.
I wonder, how that first started. Was it you needed money, or was it like, what were you looking for?
Sure. So I think it definitely started with a sort of desperation for money, and just a feeling of being lost, not really knowing who I was. I think a big part of the kind of liberal leftist group I was in was very much touting the idea of feminism, of sexual liberation, of it's very empowering to be a sex worker. This was kind of the messaging.
You know
And
what?
something that
Pause
was very
that.
popular was the sort of
The reason why I like this interview is I think she's being more honest than most. She brought up feminism. She brought up sexual liberation. These are things that I think absolutely need to be spoken about. When a woman gets into sex work, a lot of these ideologies are the ideologies that led her there. It used to be a shameful thing for a woman to even have a baby out of wedlock. Now you see women saying sexual liberation, yay! I'm a sex worker, yay! Sex work is real work, yay! And at least she's being honest about that. And I don't think that she's necessarily one of these people that's, oh, she's fake and she's grifting, because I haven't seen her. Before I looked into this, I have not seen her doing a bunch of talks at TPUSA. And so I can commend her for that. Now, I haven't looked into this so much that I do know what she's doing, but I can say this from what she says, out of all the things I've seen and all the people who speak on this issue, she's been one of the better ones of exposing what the real ideology that leads women to that evil route in life. Now, if you want to, I can put the link to in there so that anybody who wants to can go watch the rest of that video because it's pretty good. But let's go to the next one. And that is
Mary Madigan.
yeah.
You want to go to that one? Okay. All right. So Mary Madigan is Australian. She's 32 years old. Started after redundancy, I guess. Oh, I think that's. I think they had laid her off, or her job was made redundant. That's what it sounds like.
Oh, okay.
I think. And she now regrets doing this badly, and wishes she thought harder about losing her dignity.
Okay.
Oh man, let's go take a look at that article here. Oh, we'll just I'll fix it next time.
Oh no, is it one of them?
There we go. Yeah, we got it. This appears to be
I don't think that is that.
that's the. Oh, here, okay. That was
Yeah,
just
read a
that was
little bit
just
of
a video that went along with it. Yeah. So after being made redundant, yes, thanks. She had lost her job. After being made redundant in 2023, a 32-year-old Aussie made a decision that she still regrets badly. She joined OnlyFans. Over the 4 months Ainsley Gardner was on the platform, she made $10,000 by having 120 subscribers. But she said that the grind of putting herself out there online wasn't worth it. She said, "I kept seeing all these girls talking online about how they do OnlyFans and make all this money. So I impulsively made an account," she told news.com.au. OnlyFans doesn't have to be sexual, but it has become the place where creators share X-rated content and people pay a fee to see
That's
it.
a stupid thing to say. You
Yeah.
know why? Because a strip club don't gotta be sexual. You can go in there and eat chicken. I've heard people say that all the time. You see these loser dudes who be like,
What?
I went to the strip club and I got the best chicken ever. I went there for the chicken wings. Shut your loser lying self up. You ain't go to the strip club for no chicken wings. You went there because you a simp and you don't got no game and you wanted to throw money and have a girl pretend like she liked you.
Right.
That's why you went to the strip club.
Mm-hmm.
These dudes go, I like to go there because of chicken. I went to Hooters because of the chicken wings.
No.
It's so much better. How'd you even go? Okay, so let them my question be.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first time you went, you didn't know that chicken wings was good. How'd you find out they was good?
Right.
How'd you get up in there? What was you looking for?
Right.
Yeah, no, you don't fool me.
Yeah.
These people be lying.
No.
Man.
Oh, I thought the strip club was the name of the restaurant.
Oh, yeah, I heard. I
No.
It from out. You was sniffing something.
He was. Yeah, exactly.
So when they say, you know what, these OnlyFans girls got all these excuses. Yeah, OnlyFans is not just for sex. Please. And I go to an adult website because I like the way they designed it. I like the way it's laid out.
I appreciate the font choices.
I appreciate the font. I like the colors. The colors they use, just man, you can't find them anywhere else like that.
You won't see Times New Roman looking like that anywhere else. Wow.
Sands?
You haven't seen Sans until you've seen it there.
Oh,
Woo.
can't believe they have all these fonts. And you're like, come on, man. These dudes be lying. These girls be lying. Yes, everybody goes there for that. How about this? When OnlyFans was about to take away the sexual aspect because they wanted to compete with stuff like YouTube and things like that, the women went ballistic. They went ballistic because they was like, this is what OnlyFans is for. It's for sex work. You can't have it both ways. So you know what? Yeah, continue reading that.
Let's see. Online, she's described the job as toxic, and it left her feeling like she was never entirely giving enough. The Sydney local said she doesn't think people ask themselves enough questions before joining the platform. She said, "Are you willing to put in the time to do this? Are you willing to be cringe?" And also setting boundaries for yourself because it's so easy to start getting some money and go past what you're comfortable with. Man.
They always be saying it's always about
It's always,
comfort and
right.
dude,
And
if you feel comfortable even getting on a site like that, knowing the connotation of that, don't sit up here and cry and try to play a victim afterwards. I didn't feel comfortable, but I had to do it to make money. And shut up. You had a bunch of dudes simping after you. You knew what you was doing. You was dancing or doing whatever they do on OnlyFans that involves nudity or not nudity, but you knew you was selling your sexuality. You shouldn't feel comfortable with that. That should be a line you don't cross. Because the reality is this. Once you cross that line of selling your sexuality for money in any way that you can, I don't care if you're wearing swimsuits. If you're selling your sexuality for money, that's a line that really shows your character as a woman. For as far as I know, you got people like Cardi B, you got people like Meg the Stallion, you got all types of female rappers, pretty much what is her name? Sexy Red, the nastiest of them all. You got all of them sell sexuality, but I don't know if they've ever been naked. I haven't looked for it. I don't know if they get nude for camera, but I know that they do stripper dances and they sell sexuality and they constantly being halfway naked and doing sexual movements and always grinding and always talking about this and that and this sexual act and how many men they slept with in all of their music and how much they want sex and this and that. That is a prostitute in a different form. Just because, she's not on the corner selling it to a man pulling up in the car, you're still a prostitute. You're still a prostitute. And women are finding out the hard way that men, we don't like any of those type of women. Yes, men would lust after it, and a lot of simps are out there saying, wow, she's amazing. But you don't want those type of men. You want men with good character. And then good character men do not waste time with women like that. So, I don't know if you wanted to read anymore, but...
because it's pretty much the same as it kind of repeats what was going on earlier in there. It was just there's one thing I did want to point out.
Go ahead.
So it's got pictures of her in the gym, and the caption underneath the one which is wearing the green, it says she's happy she's no longer creating that kind of content.
Even though
it's available on Instagram, it's.
You see what I'm saying about? Remember we talked about leggings and gym culture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
These whores, they go to the gym and they think that wearing an outfit like that is modest because I'm in the gym and I'm working out. Come on, dude. We know what you're there for. You're taking these pictures, and contorting the body. Show that picture again. Because every woman be doing this pose. They know what they're doing and they know that it's getting male attention. And they wouldn't do it if males weren't looking. I'm sorry to burst these women bubble, but they do it for men's eyes. They do it so that men can look and lust after them. Right. Wow, man. Dude, her glutes, dude. I don't know if any dude says glutes.
I don't think
Look
so.
at her glutes, man. Wow, man. Like, that's what they want. They want you to be a simp. The best thing you can do as a man is control your lust and not be a simp. When you go out, purposely don't look at these whores. Why? Because they want your attention and they won't want to give you anything for it. They don't want to give you the time of day. They don't even want to say hi. They don't even want to say thank you when you open the door. Don't give these whores any of your attention because your attention is more valuable than they are. That's why they keep fighting for it. They just get it so easy that now they think they're up here and you're down there. I mean, really, if they were to get no attention from any man, they would be just like that first girl we covered, about to delete themselves. If you took away social media, all these whores would be on, I can't even, delete yourself watch. They'll be in a mental health hospital somewhere because the attention is that important to most of them. So don't give it to them. And I say that, but there's too many simps out there willing to do it. So let's go to
The next one.
I don't want to go over all of them. You can pick one.
Okay. Okay. Let's stick with the Australians.
Australia got a lot of whores in it. Apparently.
Yeah, it's a
They
yeah.
wilding out and down under.
Right. Let's see. Oh, this is just, I guess she's just a generic one. I just saw Australian model. Called her OnlyFans content. She called it cringy and publicly regrets it in a tell-all. This is actually not who I am. And so there's a video where she talks about this.
It is who you are.
Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Oh, you know what? That's the same one.
Oh,
Okay.
that's the same girl.
That's the same one. Oh, I was getting all worked up for that. Oh, here we go. Young Australian creator staying with Australia. Let's see. Is it the same one? Well, I guess we'll find out. Said that she earned money but regretted growing up too fast.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, this looks like it's someone different here. So let's take a look at this. Oh, it's redirecting us. Uh-oh. There we go. Oh, wait a minute. We'll take care of this. Okay.
Yeah, you can read a little
Yeah.
bit of that.
So the trend of young women joining the subscription platform OnlyFans and creating X-rated content has risen in Australia, but creator Maddie Miller says there's a downside. Ms. Miller, 19, earns roughly $2,500 monthly from her successful OnlyFans account, but told news.com.au that being on the platform has made her grow up too fast.
That's her downside. She's growing up
Yep.
too fast.
I feel like doing sex work definitely changed me straight away, she said.
Okay.
Okay.
I feel so bad for her.
The Western Australian local said that becoming a porn star from the comfort of her bedroom has come at a cost, and at a very young age, she's stuck navigating some very adult realities. My downside to my OnlyFans has been two main things. I've lost family and friends and grown up too fast.
She should lose family and friends. And that's what's supposed to keep you from doing those type of things. Shame. Social stigma. But we lied to these women and say anybody who does not support their children is a bad person. I mean, really, we needed to be telling fathers and mothers, if your child does something so deplorable, cut them off. You are not invited to Thanksgiving. You're not invited to Christmas if you want to show your butthole and claim that I raised you that way. No. It's a shameful thing to do. Let's talk about these teachers out here. These teachers out here that are, you got to ask me, this is why this came to me. Because I'm looking and I was thinking, what are some visible results that you see from all these female promiscuity out in the world? What are the results that people are scared to talk about? What are some of the things where you say, because when you be like, well, what's wrong with female promiscuity? I don't see anything happening wrong in society. Well, you ain't looking hard enough. You're not looking hard enough because if you guys think that it having no effect, that is you can just live your life, that these women can go out there and read these smut books, fill their minds with all this gobbledygook and all this, adult material, and that it will have no effect on society, well, then answer me this. Why is it having such effect on female teachers? Why is it every day I hear a new story that a teacher of some kind, female, is sleeping with an underage boy, sleeping with a little boy, that they're child diddlers? We always think these creepy men are out here doing this, but as far as I know, I've seen far more stories of female teachers doing this than any other group. I ain't seen construction workers doing this. I seen one story about a FedEx worker and it was deplorable. And I posted on my ex, if men had any balls, we would all gather together and take care of that man who did that. But when we see so many of these stories reoccurring every day of these female teachers going out and seeking out young men, you got to ask, why? What is going on with this? What's the psychological thing going on here? Why are all these women, and some of them don't even, they're not bad looking, they're not so ugly and hideous that they can't find a man? You got to wonder what's the psychological thing going on that's affecting these women and making them do this type of thing. So let's read a little bit about this. Haley Beck.
Haley Beck. So there's a good look at her there.
So she's not, I wouldn't say she's gorgeous, but she
Oh.
looks like an average woman.
Right, yeah.
She could be married with all the simps out in the world. She could be married
Right.
within months if she just put some work in.
Right, I think so. So she is 27 years old. She's a psychology and sociology teacher at Centennial High School in Peoria Unified School District in Arizona. She was fired after a district investigation found she had groomed and had a sexual relationship with a male student. The student was in her class during his sophomore and junior years, and the grooming allegedly began around December 2024 before he turned 18, with the sexual relationship continuing afterward. So here's some key allegations from the statement that the district had put out with all the charges and from the police report.
Yeah.
They exchanged over 4,000 text messages.
What woman, grown woman, is exchanging 4,000 text messages to a little boy?
Right. She gave the student special treatment, like doing his homework, I guess, and inflating his grades. Then she lent him her car keys.
What's wrong with these women?
Bought gifts, including alcohol and drugs, sent him $630 via Apple Pay.
Yep.
And then sent some very explicit sexual messages, including offers of oral sex. And then she reportedly referred to herself as his sugar mama and admitted in text that the arrangement felt like straight prostitution.
Felt like.
Well, okay. All right.
Sound like it's reverse prostitution.
Yeah.
You know, like they say reverse racism, which
Right.
is not a thing.
Right.
This is reverse prostitution.
It's reverse.
She's paying him.
Right. So,
like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
It's kind of sick what she did, because she was texting this boy back and forth, and you can tell he's a little kid. Even in his texts, he was just not taking it serious. And she was the one pressuring him and trying to guilt him into having a relationship and all types of weirdo stuff. We're going to see it in some of these videos. But my question has always been, why do we see so much of this, and what in our society is causing this prevalence of these teachers to wild out like this? And part of it is this: because women have this feminist indoctrination, they want to go out and be in these situations where they're with these teenage or younger boys, and they have no balance at all. They don't have anything holding them back. So when they get in these environments, and this is just my assessment, when I see a lot of these teachers who fall into this nonsense, what I see is they have this desire to want to relive their young life.
Yes.
They get in these environments with these kids, and they see this kid who's like the player. I don't know if you want to call it player. They see him, he may be the star of the football team. He may just be a good-looking little kid to them. And they see him, and he gets a lot of the little 14, 15-year-old girls' attention, and they want to relive their young life again. And they have their delusions and their fantasies that they want to live out with this young boy about when they were in high school, when they couldn't get the man, they couldn't get the football player. And so I think they act out their fantasies. And because of that, because a lot of the delusions that they're taught, that you can do whatever you want with no consequence, because women don't hardly ever get held accountable for anything. They think they can act out on this. And what you see every single time is they still try to default to playing the victim. They still will be like, he's the one who came on to me. And it would be like a 6-year-old boy. He's the one who winked at me in class after I bought him a Game Boy. Like, the audacity.
Right. Mm-hmm.
The audacity of some of these women to do and mess with little boys this way. And yes, some of these boys are not even teenagers. Some of them, you'll see in some of the stories we cover, they're not even old enough to know what sex is. Some of them. Now, some of them are teenagers, but that's still no excuse. You're a teacher. So let's read. We don't have to go through all of that, but then if you want to pull up those on that other tab, the TikTok tab.
Well, let's take a look at these. So Haley Beck went by the name Mommy Beck to her students instead of Ms. Beck. That's
weird already.
It's weird already.
What do you mean?
Oops, sorry about that. Let me.
You got to scroll with your mouse.
Oh yeah, hang a minute. Let me just do this.
The sister
Here we go.
of influencer Noah Beck was a teacher. Now police say she may have crossed a line into criminal territory.
I don't know that if I've ever had secondhand embarrassment so bad as I do reading these texts between Haley Beck and her student. But honestly, the student is low-key funny and calling her out, but also taking what she is giving to him. Wait till you hear these text messages. I already have 2 more videos up of some other text messages, but these are just cringe. So she's complaining because he disliked a message about saying that he was going to see her today. And there's a lot of mixed signs, and he said, I won't be seeing you today unless you pick me up from the airport and just devour my blank. Literally wants nothing else. Are you fucking serious right now?
I think
the letter that Haley Beck wrote to her student, the police found in her apartment and is now in evidence. But next, we're also going to look at the notes found in her phone, as well as the text between Haley and the student talking about Angela, saying that this student was 18 years old when this happened. That is not true. This started his sophomore year of high school, and she even states, 2 years of knowing you, our relationship has changed so much. There's some random times, days where you decided to hate me, but genuinely feel like you're my brother, weird, and maybe a cousin or stepbro. And as the student said, she literally devoured his SHIT. He's like a brother or cousin. Then she continues to say, just hit me when you want to go get wasted at a bar together and I'll send you my wedding invite one day. I thought this part was super weird. She says, but don't forget our first pickleball hangout and how you wouldn't get out of the car for like 3 hours. Or our run after our state game, or all the random times you fell asleep on my couch just waiting for me to invite you into my room. And then she admits that this relationship is extremely wrong by saying, for this relationship being extremely wrong. And she even knows he's using her because she even says, I'm glad I got to come to your tattoo appointments, even if you just wanted me to bring you food and all.
A former middle school teacher in Washington Township is facing charges for having an alleged sexual relationship with
You know what? You want to scroll back up?
County prosecutor.
I don't know that.
So more photos from the Haley Beck situation were released, including this one where it says Mommy Beck on the board. Yes, some of the students called her that. And then there's this one, which can be perceived as normal to some people because growing up, we all had a teacher in school that would bend over at someone else's desk and their butt would be like smack dab in the middle of your face and you're like, please get this away from me. But because it's Haley Beck, who knows if she was trying to be weird with this? Which one of y'all made this? And here's a student sitting on her lap with his hand
sitting
wrapped
on
around
her lap.
shoulder. If you show me this photo with no context.
Here's my question. Why in the world, all this stuff was out there before she got caught by police, before the investigation happened. She had pictures out there with her, with the students calling her Mommy Beck. She had stuff out there where she was taking pictures with students sitting on their lap. She had students over her house for long periods of time. What the heck is going on, dude? Why in the world did people just allow this type of stuff to go down and nobody question it? Why? Because she's a woman. That's why. Wouldn't nobody be cool with you just going over to a dude's house and kicking it until late hours of the night for the female volleyball team, basketball team, soccer team to just go over a random single dude's house that's your teacher or your coach? But she was doing all types of stuff with these students. In fact, there was another meme where she had made one and said, I'm one of those teachers that is so close with my students. They're my friends. She's a weirdo, dude. And here's the other thing about this case. She wasn't the only teacher that sexually assaulted this kid.
Right.
Go to the next one. I think the next one down.
The next,
Yeah, they on that, and just scroll down.
What do you mean? The principal knew,
Yeah.
his parents knew, and nobody did anything about this? So the girlfriend has entered the chat and made a video, her story time on what happened. This all surrounds the Haley Beck situation. Haley Beck was obsessed with this boy. Now, this boy, we're not going to put his name out there because I think it's still redacted. She was telling people that this girl, who's his girlfriend, was stealing her boyfriend. She was spinning the narrative to each of the
You know what?
girlfriend
Pause
and the
this.
boyfriend. Well, your boyfriend's a terrible person. Why would you be?
Look at how goofy she was acting in the background. Taking pictures of like
Right.
this and doing TikToks and doing
That
goofy
was
dances. Weirdo stuff. When women be doing that stuff and I see them doing it in public, I'm like, dude, you are a weirdo, man. This is not how regular grown-ups act. You can play it.
To the boyfriend, your girlfriend's a terrible person. Why would you be with her? She was obsessed with him. The girlfriend asked the boyfriend, what's going on with this relationship? And the boyfriend's like, oh, I'm just using her so she'll pass me in the class. Lies. Because she eventually saw all the text messages, and that's not what was happening. It was a sexual relationship. And it wasn't just him that she was being flirtatious with. It was multiple boys that she was flirtatious with. Of course, this is the one that we've all heard about that actually went farther. This goes beyond just being a child predator. Something else is devastatingly wrong with this woman's head. Something that tells her these high school boys, they're my boyfriend. These high school boys, they want to flirt with me. She's giving them their access to her credit card or debit card or whatever. The kids are going off for lunch. They're bringing her food. She's paying for it. Who knows? I don't know if she's paying for their food, but it sounds like maybe she was. You are trying to go back and be part of this group. These kids, you were their mentor. You were an adult in this situation, and you were taking full advantage of that. These boys don't want you. These boys are not obsessed with you. These boys are not into you. Their minds are still growing. Their brains are still growing. They don't know. I mean, the freaking wind blows and they're like, hey, just hearing the fact that the principal knew and the parents knew and nothing got done about this is mind-blowing to me. That means that principal doesn't give a shit about the kids in that school, and those parents, we're just going to move him because we want a football scholarship. That's what you're worried about? That's not going to affect him getting a scholarship. That's going to affect his brain, his mental health, the rest of his life. That he was groomed by a teacher. What do you mean?
Yeah, it's sad because a lot of times it's not taken serious as to what it does mentally to a young man when a grown woman is manipulating them and taking advantage of them sexually. That's sad, man. I actually have a friend that we not in contact them no more, but he told me a story when he was in high school, and this lady who that he was one of his teachers was using school funds to take him on trips, just her and him. And they would have these sexual relationships out on the trips on the school's dime. Now, how much money, I wonder, is really going towards stuff like that? How much fraud is really going because we just trust these people in these liberal establishments where they teach feminism, where women can do no wrong and they're always the victim. And you put these women who are teaching this ideology, you know they are liberal. Go and look up percentages of liberal teachers versus conservative teachers. The conservative teachers make up like 1%. I'm not even joking. So all these people are super leftist ideologues, and they got this ideology that they're pushing on us to kids and trying to indoctrinate them, and then we expect them to have some sense of morality. They're evil people. And that's why you keep seeing this happen. Evil people with evil ideology who has never been told not to do anything. And then you got these women who are thinking they can teach, men, because I honestly think if I had it my way, schools would be separated, boys and girls. If you have to go to school, idealistically, I would have homeschool be mandatory. You are a mother, you teach your own children the philosophies and things that you want them to learn. And people say, well, we don't have enough money to do that. I understand that. That's why I do make an exception for people who cannot afford it. But if you can afford it, Send your kids home so that they can be taught by their mother, somebody who actually loves them, not these liberal people who are going to indoctrinate them. You know what? Scroll down to because it's a lot of, you will be surprised how many examples. This is not me cherry picking. You're going to see all types of crazy stuff. Did we go over that one already? Yeah, we did. Okay, so yeah, we going to go over a bunch of them. Okay. Scroll up. Is it scroll? This one? Yeah, we'll play that one from the beginning.
New Jersey middle school teacher, Ashley Fissler, has been arrested on charges of sexually assaulting a minor. Fissler, who taught social studies at Orchard Valley Middle School in Washington Township from 2014 to 2023, is accused of engaging in an unlawful sexual relationship with a student in 2021. The victim, now an adult, reported multiple encounters that allegedly occurred in Fissler's vehicle and classroom. Investigators uncovered text messages between Fissler and the victim that reportedly confirmed the nature of their relationship. Prosecutors allege that Fissler exchanged over 500 explicit messages with the student, beginning when he was 12 years old.
Beginning when he was 12 years old.
First-degree sexual assault of a minor, 1 count of second-degree endangering the welfare of a child, and 1 count of second-degree official misconduct. Each first-degree charge carries a maximum of 20 years in prison, while each second-degree charge carries a maximum of 10 years. As of April 1, 2026, Fissler remains in custody at the Salem County Jail, awaiting a detention hearing.
These cases are recent. Now, here's the crazy part about that. What type of woman looks at a 12-year-old and says, I want to have sex with him? Is something going on in society and nobody is addressing it? Play the next one for me.
I have an update for you guys in the case of Nicole Callahan, the 33-year-old kindergarten teacher from Anderson, South Carolina, who's been accused of SAing a teenage boy for a couple years while he was still a minor. Now, if you haven't seen my other videos about this right here is 18-year-old Grant Strickland. He's the alleged victim, and after taking time to process the trauma and experience of what exactly had happened, he decided to come forward because he's hoping that by doing so, it will encourage other victims to come forward. And he also says people don't typically see boys as being victims, but they absolutely are. He has apparently had anxiety and depression and weight loss, and at one point even considered taking his life because of what had happened. They met back in 2021 when Grant was just 14 years old. She was the musical director at the Project Challenge Playhouse Theater, and he had auditioned for a role in Legally Blonde. This is obviously Nicole in the middle, and Grant is on the right. Over the course of the show, she ended up getting really close with Grant's parents, and at one point even considered his mother her best friend. Grant's mother gave a statement at court explaining that they felt bad for Nikki, because she had told them that her husband wasn't being very nice to her and that her own family didn't like her, specifically her mother and sister.
Always the victim.
Interesting enough, she has several photos of herself with her family posted on Facebook, and she's been tagged in a lot too. Now, her husband did file for divorce in June of 2023, and it was finalized in December of 2024. But all that stuff about her own family not liking her, it's believed that she just made that up to try to manipulate them and get sympathy. Grant's mother also stated, "We believe she needed help and acceptance, and we wanted to support her through what seemed to be a hard time of her life. Nikki called me her friend, even her best friend, which thrilled my soul to know our loving kindness toward her and her young daughter were making a difference in their lives. However, Nikki was abusing our trust and abusing our young teenage son right under our noses." And they thought Nikki was really helpful. She would do things like take Grant to his practices, which they were appreciative of. But when I began to see things were not as they seemed and that her behaviors around my son were questionable and inappropriate, my husband and I directly told her to stop all contact with him multiple times, but she refused. She would contact him on Snapchat apparently, and even bought an Xbox so she could talk to him over that while playing games with him. One time she snuck him out of the governor's school he was attending. She faces 4 charges in Anderson County and was given a $40,000 bond. In the city of Greenville, she's facing an additional 12. And there's a parallel investigation going on in Clemson County, so she might get more. So check this out. At her bond hearing yesterday, Monday, July 14th, her attorney dropped the news that she's pregnant and then asked for her to be released on bond. So she was given a $10,000 bond per charge, so a total of $120,000, and was let go. Oh, and her fiance, who I assume will be the father of her baby, was sitting right there in court to support her. She was
That's
told that
crazy.
she has to be on house arrest, she has a GPS monitor, and she's not allowed to go near Grant. Look at that smile. I mean, is this a game to her or what?
Yep.
I have an update for you guys in the case of...
You want to pause that real quick? I'm going to say something real quick. This also exposes some of the evil nature that a lot of young women have, because they will say, if he wanted to, he would, and don't do anything for a man. But meanwhile, look at all these women and what their nature is. They really like these young boys for whatever reason. They were buying them things.
Predators.
Yeah. They were buying them things, being predators, buying them Xbox. Some of them bought them phones, texting them nonstop. Don't tell me for 1 second that women don't pursue. They absolutely do. Now, you could say they're predators, so they're different. What they are is they're misusing their emotional ties in the wrong way. They should be doing these type of things to approach a good man, sharing that love to a good man, somebody their age. They probably, all these women have had husbands and all types. You think they was texting their husbands that much? You think they was sending sexy pictures to their husband? You think they were doing anything like that? No. But when it comes to the little 12-year-old boys, they couldn't be, the mother and father told them to stay away and they just couldn't do it.
They couldn't help.
It goes to show you that when a woman really wants something, she will show you she wants it. Even these little perverted child diddling women. You can play the next one.
This teacher was given a 20-year prison sentence for sleeping with one of her students. Brittany Zamora, a sixth-grade teacher
ugly
at Las Brisas Academy in Arizona,
No, not at all.
was arrested in March 2018 for having an affair with her 13-year-old student. She was caught after the parents of the student installed a monitoring app after they noticed he was acting strange at home. The boy's father saw explicit messages and pictures being sent by the teacher, and after confronting her, she begged him not to go to the police. The father ignored her pleas and submitted the evidence to the authorities. Following a police investigation, it was discovered that the teacher slept with the 13-year-old multiple times in a classroom, and on one occasion in front of another student while he served as a lookout. Zamora's husband, Daniel, remained supportive of his wife despite the accusations throughout the trial and vowed to stay by her side. However, 1 year into her prison sentence,
this is the second time we've seen that goofy stuff. Yeah. And this makes me more angry than all the feminists in the world. A simp dude who will simp to such a degree that he will go out of his way, bend backwards for a woman that is a child diddler. What type of lame man? He doesn't deserve to live either. Honestly, if she deserves a death penalty, he should go right alongside her. You love her so much, both of y'all can go together. I hate dudes like this. Why in the world? Not only did she cheat on you, but she's a child diddler too? What type of man respects that, man? You know, for people who think I get down on women, I'm so down on them so much, this type of dude, honestly, he doesn't deserve to breathe the same air as I do. Who would support your wife? If there's any reason to get divorced, that's 10 right there. What type of man is that? And show this little cuck picture again. Look at this lame. You know what? And you know, this is why too. And I can just read the cuckatry on his face. This is a pretty girl to him. His wife is a pretty girl to him. And he's such a loser. He's like, this is the best I could ever do. And he worships her. And because he worships her, she can do no wrong. So he's going to support her while she sleeps with a young man that's 13 years old? You're going to support your wife because she's pretty and she touched my wee-wee. Well, she's touching another little kid's wee-wee too. What type of despicable man sits there and supports his wife? Now, here's the thing. Let's not play too much on the man's side either, because yes, I will smash down on a man who does stupid stuff like that. His wife is not only a whore, but she's a despicable person. She's a despicable person. And honestly, the same thing that I think should happen to child diddler men should happen to child diddler women. And that's in you. You don't deserve air. You don't deserve life when you mess with a kid like that in a way that they can't come back from. The parents noticed that their child was acting weird. The kid probably had anxiety, didn't know how to deal with it, probably was trying to keep a secret because he thought it was his fault. He gonna live the rest of his life wondering if women really like him or if they trying to use him. He gonna have all type of sexual frustration because people gonna look at him as if he did something wrong.
Right.
He looks over in the courtroom and see her husband still supports her, so he's confused. This is the dumb stuff I be talking about. This is the evil that I'm talking about. You can go keep playing it.
Filed for divorce. In court, the 13-year-old's father and stepmother called Zamora a twisted monster who stole their son's innocence and requested the harshest punishment. She was sentenced to 20 years in prison. However, her attorney blames the student for her crimes.
What?
What?
This happens a lot. There was one case, and I should have looked it up, but it just came to me now, where a young man was taken advantage of by an older woman, and she was like in her 30s, and he was like 15, and she ended up getting pregnant by the 15-year-old, and he still has to pay child support. Explain that to me. Explain society where people say, "Oh, feminism is not as strong as these conservatives are acting like it is. Feminism is not really, it's so detrimental as you guys are acting. Men are still the patriarchy is told." If that was the case, then why in the world would a victim have to pay the person who victimized him?
That's adding insult to injury. It's a total insult.
It's no excuse for that. That shouldn't even be a discussion.
Right.
It shows the detriment of society and how we don't hold women accountable ever. That it's despicable. Go to the next one for me.
You are going to be placed under arrest.
Me?
Mm-hmm. You're Allie, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's going to be for predatory criminal sexual assault.
34-year-old Allie Bardfield was a substitute teacher for an elementary school in Decatur. And in 2023, she had a class at Hope Academy, and she had one boy, an 11-year-old student, visit her home multiple times for play dates between 2023 and 2024. 2 of the times in 2024 resulted in sexual assaults. But the second time is when the truth came out. This particular visit occurred on March 29th of 2024, and the boy's mother immediately noticed a change in his behavior. The mom confronted her son, and he admitted that him and Allie had unprotected intercourse in her home. AKA, Allie sexually assaulted a child in her home. A woman who was trusted to be around children every single day. And the worst part is that when she was confronted about this, she blamed the boy and said that night he had made sexual advances towards her.
Pause that for me.
Found out that the assault took place.
You see what I'm saying?
It's a pattern.
It's a pattern, and you cannot tell me this has nothing to do with feminism when feminism teaches that there's an oppressor class and an oppressed class, and every woman is a victim no matter what. When I see a pattern, I'll be like, yo, man, something's off with this. Why is it all these women claim to be a victim and the boy was 11 years old? How do you get victimized by an 11-year-old? He's still playing with Pokemon cards. How in the world do you think he's gonna... 11-year-old can't even hold you down if he wanted to. The 11-year-old is not strong. He hasn't reached his mask. It ain't like a 15-year-old. The difference between a 15-year-old and an 11-year-old is like astronomical. I taught these young boys before. I know. An 11-year-old cannot even fight a grown woman yet. He hasn't reached his... some boys, you be like, oh man, he's gonna be a big guy. He's like 14, 15. He looks like he's growing tall. That's not an 11-year-old. How can you blame? And this is the thing. What ideology does that? What ideology encourages women that no matter what they do, men are always at fault, even young boys? You want to play the rest of that?
Place in her marital bed that she usually shared with her partner, and that also over the course of a few months she had sent him tons of explicit photos and explicit messages over Snapchat, as well as $700 through Cash App. She was sentenced to 10 years behind bars 6 days ago.
10 years.
Time served.
That's all she got was 10 years. So he's 21 and she's out. Think about it. So if she did that to him when he was 11, okay, maybe he's 22 because of court and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's still fresh in his mind. As a 22-year-old, when you get out there in the world, you first going to college and you probably getting your first girlfriend and this and that. I got married at age 22. And you sitting over here and you want to tell me this is just? Why does this keep happening? You can go to the next one.
Elementary school teacher is charged with child sexual assault, accused of having inappropriate contact with a fifth grade student. Yesterday, police were called to Rivercrest Elementary School, where they arrested 24-year-old Madison Bergman.
The 24-year-old Bergman was allegedly sexting the 11-year-old child almost daily.
11.
After finding the text, the child's parents confronted Bergman with printouts detailing multiple encounters between the two that allegedly happened during the school lunch hour and after class. Bergman was reportedly engaged to her fiance last year and was due to be married in a few months' time.
The fiance gotta be crushed. I mean, his stroke game must be on the 4th grade level.
Bergman allegedly told the child in handwritten notes found in her purse how much she liked them touching and making out with her. One of the notes from Bergman also said, "One of my cousins is in the 5th grade, and I can't imagine a man talking to her how we talk. I know we have a special relationship, and I do love you more than anyone in the world, but I have to be the adult here and stop."
Elementary.
That's crazy. 11 years old. And here's the thing. You may think I just randomly, or I went searching for these. There's hundreds. For every one that I show you, there's hundreds more. There was so much more that I couldn't even organize them all. I had to be specific about which ones had video evidence and stuff like that, which ones had photos. There's so many more that I could do 100 more shows and not cover all the ones from just this year. And this year is not even over, not even halfway over. Just this year. So you got to tell me what's going on in society to cause this. And why is it so prevalent? And why is nobody dealing with this issue where we have all these women coming out of nowhere who are touching these little kids, 11 years old? And like I said before, you maybe be able to get away and say, oh, the first one was like 17 or 16 or something like that. He started when he was 15. But let's just say he was 16, so he looked like a grown man. 11-year-old don't look nothing like a grown man. No excuse. And they all follow the same playbook. The secrecy, buying kids stuff. This is gross, man. You can play the next one.
Things got real fast for Christina Formella after she was accused of having sex with a 15-year-old student. Police thought it was a one-time thing in Formella's classroom before school, and certainly once is one time too many when you're talking about an underage student and his teacher. So an arrest and an investigation and prosecution and a suspension all seemed more than warranted, right? But 3 months into this thing, it turns out once wasn't the half of it. It was more like 1/45th of it. So in this case, there was a lot of evidence, not even all of it, but, enough for the hearing that was brought out in court. And one thing really stood out to me, maybe more stood out to you, but it was a video, apparently, that this teacher allegedly sent to this kid. And it was really graphic. Best you can, knowing that we're on television, can you describe what the video actually contained?
Yeah, so the prosecutor said that when she couldn't physically abuse him, she would send him little reminders such as pictures and videos of herself, including one where she was taking care of herself while saying his name.
This is the gross stuff. Now, here's the thing. You want to know how I know this is related to liberalism? Liberalism is the same thing that tells girls as soon as you turn 18, you can start an OnlyFans, and it's empowering. They're the same group of people that says you sexual liberation and you should be able to express yourself and all this stuff, and your kink is your kink and don't kink shame. We're kink shaming when we're pointing out this stuff. No shame for anything. What can you hold women accountable for anything besides anything criminal? So just think about it. This is what feminism has done. everything up to criminal you can't hold women accountable for. Nothing. So their body count, how many men they sleep with, whether they're sex workers or not, whether they on the street prostitutes or not, whether they go out and be in sexual liberation marches, whether they're feminists, whether they have septum piercings, how they dress, who they girls trips. You can't hold them accountable for any darn thing. And then when they get to the criminal level, now we supposed to hold them accountable. This is what it causes. And for those who say, no, it doesn't, this is just the extreme. No, all these women have the same playbook. They're all victims. They all say he came on to me because evil man, no matter what age. They're all strong, empowered boss babes who wanted to be teachers. They're not staying at home with their children. This is not single mothers at home seeking out boys in the neighborhood. It's teachers with liberal ideology. Don't tell me it's not related when I can see it's related. All these women, too, are somewhat attractive. All of them. They know. Show the picture of her. It's on the screen right now. She's not ugly.
Nope, not at all.
She probably denied several men on the way to go have sex with somebody who's 12 years old. They want what's forbidden. No man can reach their standard of the delusions they have in their head. So the only thing they have left that they can fulfill is a fantasy. This fantasy where they can be in control, where they can relive their young lifestyle, where they can do all these weird, warped out minotaur fantasies they have. Taming an animal, taming a beast. All this weird stuff, in my opinion, goes together. I don't know if that's the last one, but see if it's another one. Well,
forcing students as young as 13 to wear scream masks while having group sex, now faces a total of 47 charges, including 15 counts of child molestation and 14 counts of sexual misconduct with a minor after new accusers come forward. Brittany Fortenberry, the then 31-year-old married mother of 4, was accused of grooming at least 10 boys by giving them gifts including drugs and alcohol in exchange for sex. The newest accuser came forward in September of 2025 after the teacher had been arrested, saying he was previously too scared to speak out. Brittany Fortenberry was busted in August of 2024 after the grandmother of one of her alleged victims told police the teacher molested the boy when he was 15. The Indiana teacher who...
This is insane. This is insane because everybody talking about don't hurt women, violence against women. Who is up here fighting for the young boys? These young boys, we send them off to school and we think that they protected. Meanwhile, all these teachers, not all, I can't say all, a lot of these female teachers are predators, living out their sexual fantasies with these young boys. And here's the thing about the classroom nowadays. There's no camera in the classroom. There's nobody in there to stop the teacher. You don't even know what teachers are teaching. Their doors are closed. When you walk down a hallway, you won't even see what's going on in that classroom. If everybody leave except for one student, nobody would even know. Because it's a female-ran organization. It's nothing Christian about it, so we don't have any accountability. These women get to do and whatever. If a girl wanted to, if a woman wanted to, a teacher wanted to, she could sit up there and show a kid's adult material, and if they didn't tell anybody, nobody would know. She could show it on the screen and act like it's a sexual education thing, and nobody would know. Because there's no checks and balances, and it's always super left-wing ideology that runs these schools. Who's checking that? And yes, these leftists take up for each other. That's why the first teacher, Haley Beck, everybody was an open secret. Everybody knew about it. They just ain't gonna say nothing. In a conservative school or a Christian school, do these type of things happen? Yes, they do happen. But on a lot less scale than these liberal schools do. A lot less, because at least you got people that will hold you accountable. You got people who say, this is the Christian principle that we abide by. But in these other schools, it'd be an open secret. And how do you know it's an open secret? Because there will be a teacher who has the boldness to have an orgy Multiple students, not even worrying about that it'll get out.
Right.
Knowing how students talk. She will have the boldness to have multiple students engaged in this, which lets you know this is going on for a while. She's done this before because she has absolutely no fear of them telling anybody. And if they do tell another teacher, the other teacher going to take up for her and be like, well, she is a little odd. She's a little out there. She's a little liberal. She's a free spirit. You know that's what's going on. So people can't tell me that these ideologies have no effect and they don't have a definite evil end. It might be another. Is it one more? Might be way more. I don't know. Yep, another one.
Absolutely sick and
You want to
unbelievable.
rewind that if you can?
Y'all will not believe what this teacher did to a homeless student. This is absolutely sick and unbelievable, but really nothing surprises me anymore. A Florida teacher is accused of engaging in sexual conduct with a homeless student after she gave the teen a place to live at her home. So this is 49-year-old Mackenzie McLean, and she was reportedly booked into the Seminole County Jail on Tuesday, February 17th, after a judge signed off on an arrest warrant.
Now this one is ugly. That's all I wanted to say. This one is ugly.
Yeah. There's
She looked like a wildebeest.
Aesthetically challenged, yes. Yes.
She's Neanderthalian. What?
Neanderthalian.
She got a wow. She got that look.
There's. Should we continue with that one?
Please continue.
Okay.
That charged her with 2 counts of sexual offense by an authority figure and a single count of distribution of a controlled substance. According to reports, the student victim told detectives with the Seminole County Sheriff's Office that Mackenzie here started to sexually assault him shortly after he moved into her home in March of 2024. She then continued to SA the boy for months. He also reportedly told authorities that one of those assaults occurred while Mackenzie's daughter was in the room with them, and the daughter is said to be around the same age as the student victim. The daughter eventually got suspicious and asked what was going on, and at that point the teen pulled down the covers to show Mackenzie's head. Reportedly, the teen student moved into Mackenzie's home when he was kicked out of his own home and had no place to live. It was not long after moving in that Mackenzie here started to make sexual advances towards him. The student reportedly told deputies that the first incident happened while he and Mackenzie's daughter were playing video games. During that incident, the teacher gave that student 12 shots of gin, and well, that caused him to be really intoxicated. The student said the teacher then told her daughter to leave the room, and then she sexually assaulted him. The teen said that went on for a very short time, and he told detectives that he pushed Mackenzie off of him and told her that it was wrong. During this time, it was said she was still the teen student's economics teacher at Crooms Academy in Sanford. Now, the student was 18 at the time of the alleged charged offenses. However, the second-degree felony that Mackenzie was charged with prohibits an authority figure like a teacher from soliciting or engaging in sexual conduct with a student regardless of that student's age. The teen told detectives that for the final 2 months of his senior year, he was living with Mackenzie and sleeping in the same bed as she was, and that they would ride to school together every morning in the same vehicle. The student reportedly ended up
she just
living with her for
manipulated
9
him all the way
months.
to the
He
bed.
said he was
all the way
assaulted
through.
by her between 5 and 10 times in the 2 months when she was still his teacher. Absolutely unbelievable. Detectives said that during the interview, the teen became emotional while talking about what happened to him and started crying. When the teen was asked why he let the alleged abuse keep going, he reportedly told detectives that he felt compelled to do it, or he would no longer have a place to live or food to eat, and well, that's sad. Reportedly, this student also brought a female friend to him when he went to speak to detectives, and that female friend said that she had known about the sexual conduct between the student and Mackenzie and shared text messages that were allegedly from Mackenzie here, where she acknowledged having sex with the teen. That female friend of the victims also said that Mackenzie here had given her Adderall, and that resulted in Mackenzie catching a distribution charge. The female friend of the victims also reportedly told police that on the night that the teen moved out of Mackenzie's home in December of 2024, Mackenzie was screaming and cutting herself with a knife. She remains in custody.
These women are crazy.
Court appearance earlier this week, and she is due back in court on March 31st. She is now on administrative leave from the school. This is so awful that she would do this at all to a teen student, but especially a vulnerable one who was homeless. She took advantage of that teen during the worst years of his life. I pray that justice is served to the fullest in this case and that she never teaches again. For more cases of daily dirty teacher stories, make sure to follow. And if you're on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. Y'all will not.
To me,
wow,
they're crazy, man.
That
Cutting
checked
herself.
that checked all the boxes
Yeah.
of crazy and
She
and
totally groomed that.
totally
boy.
groomed him. Totally.
Yeah, she groomed him because he felt like he had no way out.
Right. Yeah.
For all these people who be talking about, and here's the other thing too.
Man.
A lot of times these women have this idea, these evil women, not all, but a lot of the evil ones, have this idea that every man is attracted to them and doesn't have a right to say no. If you want to see a lot of these evil women act out, tell them no. Tell them, no, I'm not really attracted to you. I don't want your number. Refuse their advances. They don't feel like men have the right to do that. As much as women love to say, men are the ones forcing themselves on women and we live in a RAPE culture, tell a woman no and see what she does. Because the culture that we live in, look at this. These women know these young boys. They get them drunk. They bring them drugs. Multiple cases of them bringing them drugs and getting them drunk and putting them in a situation where they can't leave. Constantly guilt tripping them, texting them even though they know they got girlfriends, doing all types of weirdo stuff. Is that the last one? Let me see if it's any. I keep saying it's the last one and it ain't.
Don't you also wish that we could be shocked at this news? But at this point, this time we're in Texas and it's a 27-year-old substitute teacher named Angela Louise Palmares. According to the Llano County Sheriff's Office, the school district contacted investigators on April 21st regarding an improper relationship between a student and a substitute teacher. Now, I believe we should replace improper relationship with a crime, but either way, an investigation was opened the next day on April 22nd. According to reports, Llano ISD or Independent School District stated that the concern involved inappropriate communication with students through social media outside of the school day. They also said that she last worked as a substitute teacher on April 2nd, and once these allegations came out, they did remove her from the district's substitute list. Now, in the reports that I read, it didn't specify a school. It said that she was a substitute for this district, but no longer is. Authorities said that interviews and evidence collection led to an arrest warrant, and Angela was later located in Bell County, Texas, and taken into custody without incident with help from the Texas DPS Fusion Center and Bell County Sheriff's Office Violent Crimes Apprehension Unit. She has now been charged with improper relationship between an educator and a student, which is listed as a second-degree felony in Texas. There are a lot of details that haven't been released yet. We don't know how many students may have been affected. We don't know the ages of those students. We do know that the parents of affected students have been contacted and informed, and the investigation is still ongoing. Anyone who believes they may have been a victim of this substitute teacher, or if you have information that could be helpful to the investigation, Llano County Sheriff's Office is
go to the
asking
next
that
one.
you contact their...
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Sergeant Curry with Criminal Investigations.
I'm Kathy Corselletti.
Corporal
Hi.
Martin with Criminal Investigations
Kathy
also.
Corselletti.
Unfortunately, we're here because of one of your teachers,
Yes.
Kelly Simpson.
Yes,
It's reference to case number 2208-007100, where she was tampering with child custody. We have reason to believe that she may have evidence in her classroom to support said charges and possibly other charges of sexual conduct with the student.
All right.
That being known to you, you're allowing us to come on campus and go into her classroom, is that
Yes,
correct?
I am.
Okay. All right.
So what I said is we've moved her class. We have a sub in there. They're going to be in the meeting center. The door's locked. So is one of my SROs going with you, or do you want me to go to unlock the classroom? Or
Just as long as somebody can, somebody's got to stand by with us, that's all.
Yep. So that's good, and nobody should be back in there until you're done.
Okay.
So.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right.
Sidebar.
Yeah, go to the next one because I thought
Florida
it was
teacher
long.
admits having sex with underage student multiple times on campus. Sheriff of Florida. High school teacher has been charged with having sex with a 17-year-old. Student multiple times on campus. Authorities said. Heather Mashburn Smith, 37. was arrested Wednesday after police received a tip that the teacher had had sex with the teenager twice in the past month. The Charlotte County Sheriff's Office said in a statement. She then gave a full, post-Miranda confession to detectives and was charged with unlawful activity with minors, enhanced to a first-degree felony because she's a teacher, police said. The age of consent in Florida is 18. What this woman has done is not just unlawful, it is damaging to the students and staff around her. Sheriff Bill Prummel said, teachers are meant to be people that students can trust and seek out for mentorship, guidance, and encouragement. This individual took advantage of that vulnerability and preyed on one of the people she was entrusted to protect. Mashburn Smith was suspended from her position at Port Charlotte High School. Superintendent Mark Vianello said, the actions of this individual are a direct violation of the duty every educator owes to students and families. We will not tolerate anything that compromises student safety. Mashburn Smith was booked into the Charlotte County Jail. She appeared crestfallen in her mugshot, which showed her nose piercings. She was still being processed as of Wednesday. Florida teacher.
Yeah, we can go to the next one because he's just showing.
He came in there and he was like, all right, we just need to take you out and talk to you. Apparently there are like police officers hiding behind the door waiting for her to walk. He came in there and he was like, all right, we just need to take you out and talk to you. Apparently there are like police officers hiding behind the door waiting for her to walk out.
This Port Charlotte high school student is describing the moment he watched his teacher get arrested.
And when she walked out, that's when like they escorted her through the back of the school and they took her to jail.
He's talking about his English teacher,
That's her.
Heather Mashburn Smith. Students told me she was way too friendly.
She was always sweet and joyful. I never found anything fishy about her. So I don't know what happened. Why she
The other
did it,
students
but
saw something fishy.
Wrong choice.
A new affidavit says that she had unprotected sex with a 17-year-old student twice in the classroom. It says this was going on for about a month. Students told me the teen was a football player.
It's like she ruined her life and the student's life, so I just like, it's weird.
The affidavit said the teen made her feel good and desired. Mashburn Smith is married and has 2 children.
Isn't worth that risk.
Married and with
Mashburn
2 kids.
Smith appeared in front of a judge this morning. She was issued a no-contact order with the teenager.
Here is the honest
You
truth.
can pause that because that's not. Yeah, that second one is related to that one before, and yeah.
Wow.
It goes to show you, man, how evil some of these people are.
Yeah.
In the classroom, that was happening inside the school.
Inside the school.
Mm-hmm.
Inside the school.
And it's crazy. You know what? You want to read some of these?
Yeah. About why it continues to happen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can read
Yeah,
that.
so we're looking at all this stuff and why this stuff continues to happen. Well, I was thinking about this myself. It's like access. They have access to all these students and that, and there's trust. So schools require trust and proximity. Those same features can be misused. Underreporting. We talked about the boys were saying they felt like they had to. Underreporting. Students may fear consequences or not recognize grooming early. They may not know, but they're just afraid.
Yep.
There are gaps in policies, inconsistent rules on staff-student communication and supervision.
Mm-hmm. And they play in the gray there because there's no rule that says you can't do an after school type activity with the students, but you would expect that an adult would have some type of decorum or some type of common sense to say, we're not going to go on a restaurant one-on-one with a student.
Right. You're going to have other people there. You're going to have doors open. Nothing's ever going to be closed.
Yes. And you're not going to ever invite a kid to your house.
Exactly.
But all of these women, unless they're having sex in the school, they're inviting these kids to their house. And part of that is on the parents. I got to say that too.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know where your kid is and your kid says, I'm going over to coach's house, or I'm going over to my teacher's house, why do they need to go over to their house when they spent 8 hours at school with them?
Right. What's the deal?
What's the point of that? You should already be, it should already be raising a red flag.
Right. Yeah. And then talking about this too, small boundary crossings become normal if not checked early. It starts small and then it becomes normal.
Yeah.
And then cases only surface after patterns have escalated, and there's a lag in catching this stuff because of that. Should we go on about the ideology?
Yeah, go ahead.
So there is incredible evidence that feminism as a movement causes these crimes, but what is supported is this. Norms and narratives, they matter. Broader cultural messages about sex, power, and relationships can shape attitudes, but they don't determine criminal behavior. But they do shape the attitudes. And then there are double standards. We kind of talked about that. Society sometimes treats female and male abuse as less serious. It's almost like it's a joke, which can delay intervention. Like, well, the boys are enjoying it, that kind of stuff. And accountability. Regardless of your ideology, the standard is the same. Adults in authority must not engage in sexual or romantic conduct with minors. It shouldn't have to be said, but there it is.
Well, the ideology, this is where they fail to connect it, is that feminism is what teaches women of all ages that men don't matter. They're expendable. All men are evil. All men are pigs. Nothing, they can't be victims. And so then you grow up with that ideology, and these teachers they go into these classrooms with 20 boys they're in charge of.
Right.
And you expect them that ideology not to carry on to their sexual desires and all the weird situations they've been put in. These young boys are growing up. They just now getting testosterone. Some of them are in school and they don't know what they're doing in life. And then you have this teacher that's looking at them as a sexual predator and living out her little fantasies in her head.
Right.
And nobody has ever told her that these things is wrong all throughout her life. She has never been held accountable for any of her sexual degenerate ideas.
Right.
And then you release her to these young men who she can influence in any way without being checked at all.
Exactly right. There is zero accountability with that. Zero. And then we're going to get to the point about spicy media. Morning Glory Milking Farm. I'm sorry, I just had to say it. But media can shape expectations or scripts, how things are supposed to go about romance and boundaries. Media shapes that. And for most adults, it doesn't lead to illegal behavior.
And we talked about that before because what happens with a lot of women is you have pornography that young men engage in. And most young men have seen it. Most young men have engaged in it. But most are ashamed that they have.
Right.
But with the women's side, because we live in a feminist society, there's no shame for anything. So you'll read a book. They'll have book clubs and celebrate these type of things.
Yeah.
And they will go and read it together. And you look at Book Talk.
Yeah.
Go on TikTok and search up Book Talk. And they will be talking about how hot the book they read made them. Now, just show me a group of men, maybe you can call it goon talk. Show me a group of men that watch pornography and get together and talk about how hot that scene was in public. They don't have any shame. They get on TikTok and they fan themselves. Oh, that scene with what's her name? Did you see it? And the other guy's like, yeah, man. And when she did this, it was so crazy. Men don't do that. We have shame about our stuff. But women have been taught not to shame anything they do that's sexually degenerate. So they engage in this stuff, and you think that it doesn't act out in their fantasies? Right. Why else are all these women going for these younger men? They're living in delusion and fantasy.
Yeah, right. And they don't set any kind of boundaries.
Nope.
And in fact, we've got that right here. So the risk of all this arises when there are no boundaries set, and then they have access to minors.
Yeah.
So these women have access to minors. It's just, and we've seen they're not standalone cases. This is not a one-time thing.
No,
it's not a one-time thing at all.
They have complete freedom and they're unchecked.
Right.
And so any perversions that they do have, they have a complete field of young men to act it out on. And nobody's checking them. Nobody's telling them anything they're doing is wrong. Their liberal ideology is welcomed in school. So what do you expect to happen? Exactly.
You're just allowing it to happen if you just keep doing that. So what actually can help prevent this stuff? And we kind of talked about it a little bit, and we saw some of this in some of those stories with what the parents did. But there have to be clear and enforced rules. No private DMs or texts with students, from teachers to students, and use school monitored channels only. Don't go private with this stuff. And we just talked about this. Having two adults, never be isolated or by yourself. Keep your doors open and use visible spaces that should be monitored.
Mm-hmm.
And then parents and staff and students should be trained on the signs of grooming. You know,
here's the best way, in my opinion, to stop this: homeschool your kids.
Oh yeah,
homeschool them until they learn enough to where they can at least fight back
Right.
on this stuff. Or if something crazy was to happen, they know enough that they can come tell you. They trust you.
Right.
They know that this is odd and
They
wrong.
know. They know.
You raise your kids and you put them in a place where they're protected. And if you feel that your kids still don't know enough, even at the age of 15, then don't send them out there to the wolves, because
Right.
that's exactly where they're going.
Exactly.
They got to know how to defend themselves. They got to know how to defend
Right.
themselves, even how they speak. You know,
Right.
I know for a fact, if my oldest was in school and somebody was doing something crazy, at the least he would do is be like, "Whoa, get away from me!" Right away. Right away, he would do that, because he's been taught this is not nothing you play around with. A lot of these students have been indoctrinated since a young age that you trust your teacher no matter what. If they teach you a book that says 2 men can have sex, you don't deny that either. You just go along with whatever the teacher says.
Right.
And what they can't do with my kids is they can't teach them nothing wrong, because they've been indoctrinated by me in the Word of God. So you teach them something crazy like that, they're gonna be wait. That ain't what we done read.
Right.
That ain't why you touching me like that? That's weird. Stop that.
Right.
They would be. I have full faith that they would respond like that, because I've raised them. These other people, what they've done in this society where we just send our kids off to school with strangers, we don't know these teachers. Most parents don't even go to parent-teacher conferences.
Right.
We don't know these people from anybody, and they're in class alone with these weirdos for 8 hours a day, and nobody knows their ideology or what they think about life or anything like that.
Right.
And you give them over. You're giving your kids over to these people. Not knowing nothing.
Right.
So then it just takes, so say they got eight school classes a day from the time that they're 5 to the time that they're 18. How many teachers is that? I'm not a math magician, but and then they got 2 different semesters, or they got the split school year, and they switch teachers and stuff. Some of those teachers are gonna be weirdos.
Yeah.
Some of them. So you giving your kids over to that, and you letting these people indoctrinate your kids, and you don't know who these people are. And then we pump this leftist ideology into the schools, and nobody's checking it. How many times I might do a show on how many town halls have I seen where fathers are coming up there saying, "You're showing our kids adult material in sex education class, and we do not agree with it." And they got to argue with the school board for that not to be shown. If the teachers are showing your kids that type of stuff, of course they believe in this degenerate stuff. Of course they're going to act out sexually. They think it's a good thing to do to act out. They're teaching your kids they should act out on it too. You know, so this is what this degenerate, liberal, evil, satanic society teaches. Anyways, we'll read a little bit more and then we'll wrap it up.
We're talking about parents be watching for secrecy, having their son or daughter get this sudden special attention from an adult, or if their behavior shifts, and to just take concerns about how close the adult in charge is getting to their students, to their kids seriously early. Don't wait for proof of a crime.
And sometimes I feel bad for the parents because they did what they
and
parents, even in the stories, did what they could.
They did what they could. Right.
Yeah, something is wrong going on, and sometimes the parents were the ones to find out. So I don't want to demonize everybody who's ever in this situation.
Right. Yeah.
But it is one of those things where if you're going to send your kids, you can't prevent everything, but make sure you're vigilant, because the world is an evil place. The world is an evil place, and it's not just men who are out there being predators. There's women as well. And in many ways, it's more women, because women are least suspected. Predators are always going to be, though, in a place where they're least suspected to be predators. That's how they get away with it. And so every one of these women, I'm sure that they've been in situations where they were acting inappropriately before it got to the level of full-blown sex.
Yeah.
And nobody said anything. But it goes to show you, and this is the last thing we'll say before we wrap it up. when you don't put any damper, when you don't hold female sexuality back and you let them be promiscuous in life with no consequences whatsoever, this is the result. If more women are at home raising their children, you wouldn't have these weird situations where they're growing up and they're trying to teach these young men and alone with these students in the classroom. You just wouldn't have it. So you have these situations that could be completely avoidable with all these weirdos running around. And you wonder, why is the world getting so messed up? How many of these situations have not been reported?
Mm-hmm.
How many situations have not been reported?
Right.
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
So anything you want to add on that, Mr. Producer?
No, it's depressing enough.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
That's pretty sad.
It's sad because some of these kids are so little. I mean, 10 and 11.
10 and 11?
Come on, man.
Yeah.
What do you see in a 10 and 11-year-old? But when you have that type of situation, man, somebody got to be an advocate for these kids. And not only that, but somebody has to point out and even ask the question, what is making society go this direction?
Mm-hmm.
I have never, when I was a little kid, you would hear a story like this every once in a while. Every school would have their little rumors and this and that. But the degree that it is now is insane. You can't go a day without hearing a new story of a teacher diddling her kids.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you can't act like, this is just, maybe it's just getting publicity because of cell phones. No, things are getting a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are not careful, you will act like it's not happening, and it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta ask yourself what's contributing to it. And the only thing that has changed over the last 50 years that has gotten out of control is feminism, women's entitlement, and this ideology that women can do no wrong. And then you wonder why we see this type of stuff growing in number. So if you guys like what you heard, like, comment, share, subscribe. We appreciate everybody joining us. If you guys want to be on the show or you want to have a discussion with me, you can message us at therighteousedge@gmail.com. Mr. Producer responds to that.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys got any ideas, even if you want a friendly debate or something like that, we can do that as well.
Yep.
We want to have, we're going to be setting up a little more shows that we have a little bit more dialogue. What's the word? Where we have sit down with people.
Interviews,
that's it. Yeah, we're going to be setting up some interviews in the future and get back to that in a sec too. But thank you guys for joining us. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.